Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing there.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, as always, powered by our friends over at RMB Builders. Get in touch with Rhett and the crew over at rmb-builders.com, and you can always find them on Instagram at RMB Builders. Our phone line daily is brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center, formerly known as Metropolitan Health Group. Same people, same great services. Get in touch with our friends Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan for Southern Regional Medical Center. Speaking of Jason Ramazan, remember Mr. Fun's Travel putting together a trip to Orlando for Game 1 between LSU football and Florida State. That'll be happening on Labor Day weekend, first weekend of college football. Mr. Fun's Travel's got a group that is going to be put together with first-class airfare, of course, transportation from the airport to the hotel to the game, back from the game to the hotel, and then, of course, getting you from Orlando to Baton Rouge if you need tickets. They've got packages available with tickets, too. So, MrFundsTravel.com. Huge night for LSU baseball. I think the biggest win of the year. I thought it was the best win of the season for LSU baseball from start to finish. Obviously, being and having their backs up against the wall. The next time LSU loses, that will be their last game. So the Tigers are playing for their life every single, every time out here. If they can make it to the championship series, and you got a performance in a situation where you're coming out of the losers bracket in a baseball tournament, specifically the college baseball World Series. You have to have a performance, and I believe Charles Hannegriff said this, and I've heard him say this before, and I believe he said this over the last 24 hours. So make sure I want to credit Hanny on this, but Hanny told me this a while ago when LSU has been in this situation. It may have been back in 2017 when they were here and facing Oregon State. Oregon State, of course, only lost 6 games that whole year. 2 of them were to LSU, and they were in back-to-back days. And I remember Handy saying, if you're going to pull this off, if you're gonna make this happen, you got to get a performance from somebody that is kind of out of body, right? Like you almost have to have an experience, or you need to have somebody have a performance that they haven't had all year, that they haven't done all season long. And I believe it was Eric Walker who was the guy did it back in 2017 versus Oregon State. And yesterday, it was Nate Ackenhausen and really Riley Cooper, too. It was a combination of both of the lefties who combined for 8 strikeouts on Tuesday night. And LSU, against a very respectable and very, at times potent Tennessee lineup, really had those guys guessing, man, for a lot of the night. And Ackenhausen's performance, if LSU really, it will go down as one of the great performances in the postseason for LSU. But if they're able to pull this thing off, you'll look back at Tuesday night and really put an asterisk by Ackenhausen and Cooper's performance. Nate went 6 innings, which was his best outing of the season. That was a season-high 6 innings for Ackenhausen. He finished with another season high, including 7 strikeouts. So when, a guy like Hannegriff says you got to have a performance that, you not necessarily have seen all season from one player, or just kind of an out-of-body experience from one player, you got to have that. There it is. You got it last night from Ackenhausen as he went in and did something he hasn't done all season long. He extended himself into 6 innings. He threw a career-high 7 strikeouts and really controlled that Tennessee lineup. Defensively, I thought LSU played really well. Obviously, there was a Jordan Thompson error, and Thompson's going through it right now mentally. You can see it. Hopefully, he can kind of work himself out of it in between last night and today because he's fighting it right now. I mean, it's carrying over from the plate into the field, and LSU has to have him, playing right, obviously, for them to advance as far as they can. But obviously, the pitching staff last night was fantastic. I think if you would have told Jay Johnson 24 hours ago you're only going to use 2 arms in a 5-0 win tonight, man, he would have been just elated. And for that to be the outcome and for that to be the real life of it, man, LSU has put themselves in as about of good of a spot as they can be going into a scenario where you got to beat the top seed in the tournament twice. And if you can do that, you advance to the national championship. LSU's got they've got a selection of arms that they can go through today, right? Jaden Coleman. Jaden Coleman is a guy that jumps to mind. Blake Money, who we saw warming up last night. You still got Dutton. You still got some guys that you can lean on. But if they can win tonight, and Peterson and Perez and the crew were talking about it last night, you're looking at Paul Skeens on a Major League Baseball 5-day rest on Thursday, and there's no way I can imagine that Paul Skeens would allow Wes Johnson and Jay Johnson not to give him the ball, right, with a chance to go to the Natty. And, you feel like if you can get to Skeens, LSU's the best team in the country when Skeens on the mound. I really don't think it's debatable. I don't think that there's a wide debate out there that people really kind of say and on the other side of that argument. When Skeens is pitching, LSU's the best team in the country. And they have one game to get the ball to Skeens. And if they can get him the ball, you've got the national championship on the line. So, the more, look, today's huge, right? Today's obviously the biggest game of the year. And if you can piece it together, here comes the offense too, right? That ball Cruz hit early on, I couldn't believe the park held it. Obviously, the wind was blowing in, and the wind just turned into a brick wall on him at about 390 feet.
He knew it though, right? He knew it was a home run.
Oh, everybody in the spot. He crushed
he really
that
did.
ball. Obviously he hit the 8th inning home run to the opposite side of the park, which it was great to see, and you could see his emotion kind of coming through on that. He's been, kind of in a mental prison from a standpoint of, man, he's just trying to break out. To see the ball go over the wall for him in Omaha. He was seeing it well yesterday. Trey Morgan's hitting it as good as anybody in the tournament right now.
He really is. He's doing great.
Oh, man. He's seeing it at a high level. You feel very confident when he's in the box.
Well,
and
he looks so confident.
I even thought that the ball that Tanks hit after Cruz's early shot that got knocked down, Tanks had same thing happen to him. Tommy White had the same thing happen to him with a ball that was hit, looked like into outer space, come, crashing down. And as he was coming to the dugout, you could see him like that ball was gone. He tattooed it, but just, Mother Nature was a part of the game yesterday. The wind was severe early on. There was no way the ball was leaving the yard early on, and it changed. It changed course about the 7th inning, and Kyle Peterson made a kind of a comment to it of, Tennessee had some of their heavy hitters coming up to bat, and the wind had really changed, and that was when Ackenhausen had kind of made the start of the inning, and then the switch to Riley Cooper, and Cooper comes in there and is able to thwart a bases loaded type rally for Tennessee. LSU fought through it last night, man. That was one of the really dominant or really good solid performances of the season for LSU that played out, with a life on the line scenario for them on Wednesday night. So good stuff. If you have thoughts, jump in. If you want to get your thoughts, obviously it's Wednesday here. We're going to talk to Jacques. Jacques coming up here at 8 a.m. this morning. We'll talk to Jacques from Omaha as we'll get his thoughts on yesterday and what could set up tonight. Again, another 6 o'clock start for LSU from Charles Schwab Field as the Tigers will be taking on Wake Forest with, as we said, a chance for another game. They'll have to beat Wake again tomorrow if they're able to advance today. And with that will be, a national championship berth on the line. So
that's wild that we're already here.
It is crazy. Kay Beloso with a very solid game and outing yesterday. We talked about Trey Morgan really seeing it. Beloso is swinging it with a lot of confidence right now. So it's good to see this lineup. It's good to see the offense really starting to take the stride in Omaha because they got to have them, man. They got to have this lineup producing at a high level over the next 5 games if they want to close this thing out.
Trey Morgan looks like he's having a blast.
Oh, I'm sure
too,
he
the
is,
whole time.
He's
Like he doesn't look nervous.
A ton of money.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
And like his draft stock is shooting up the boards right now.
What a difference when your attitude is like that and how he's playing, like how he played last night at least. Like he just looks like he's always having fun. He's always smiling. He's joking around. I love that.
I mean, he's playing great on both sides of the ball, too. I mean, his defense has been as impressive as his offense has been. I mean, some of the plays he's made early on in the tournament from a defensive standpoint, I think, had a lot of people talking. And now the way that he's really just seeing it, he looks so comfortable up there. He looks so relaxed. I mean, it looks like it's coming to him very, very easy right now. And that's what you have to have if you're LSU. Your stars have to be stars. And we talked about, Cruz being 0 for 2 nights ago. For him to turn around just a night later and go 2 for 4, he was obviously with the home run. He was able to score 2 runs. He was really one of the difference makers of last night. Tommy White was 0 for 5. He's got to, he's got to get going. But again, he was somebody that. Hit the ball hard. He was hitting the ball solid. Morgan, as we said, hitting it as good as anybody in the tournament right now, was 2 for 4. He had 2 knocked in. He also scored 2 runs. It was a really big night for him. Gavin Dugas batting in the 4 spot last night, I thought was one of the moves of the game, obviously with the bunt call that Dugas was able to put down was such a kind of a point in that game where, things started to change. Obviously the wild throw, Morgan scores from third. Dugas is able to take second, and you're able to, get some momentum and catch a rally there in some mid innings. And I thought, making the move last night of Alex Milazzo in defensively and giving Hayden Travinski a night off after, really a lot of catching over the last, 2 weeks that he's done. There was a part in that game where Milazzo, I thought, had huge impacts on the game defensively. He was able to block a ball spiked in the dirt from Eichenhausen, I believe, in the 5th inning, 6th inning, that definitely kept a run in and kept a runner from advancing into scoring position. And then again, he did it in the 9th inning with Riley Cooper. I mean, both those guys spiked the ball before the plate, and Milazzo made tremendous defensive plays to keep the ball in front of him, to keep the ball in play, and most importantly to, not give Tennessee an opportunity to score. I mean, Tennessee was knocking on the doorstep a couple of times with bases loaded and guys in scoring position where LSU either made a pitch or made a defensive play that was able to get them in and out of the inning. I mean, how big was that double play before that double in the 8th inning? I mean, just a pitch before, and I believe that was the second baseman that fumbled
that Christian Moore,
the double
that
play.
error, yeah, that was bad.
I mean, that turned out to be an enormous play for them. But then, and then in the bottom half of the inning, he steps up and hits a rope.
Yeah.
In between Pearson and Cruz, but just a play before that, Thompson and Dugas were able to turn a, very fluid 6-4-3 double play that ended up being a enormous defensive play, because if obviously you don't turn two there, you got guys in scoring position, and that guy hits one into the gap, and you're scoring two, and that thing's knotted up, or I believe it would have been 3-2 at that point. So I mean, they just were able to kind of stay in front of it last night, either by a pitch or a play, and staying alive. But I thought it was their best win of the season, really. Obviously, I mean, that's easy to say because they're, if they lose, they go home. But just from, the way that they played in all aspects of the game, whether it was defensively behind the plate, whether it was, some of the plays that they made in the field, whether it was guys stepping up in the lineup, but most importantly, the pitching staff, right? I mean, to get the performance from those two guys, that's what it takes. You have to have those types of performances for this to happen. For LSU to do the improbable, and it's improbable to take this route to a national championship. It's very difficult. But if you're going to do it, you have to have what happened to LSU last night. You really need that to go down. You really need two guys or a guy to step up and have a performance that, just has not been the norm this season. And Nate Eichenhausen was able to do that with his longest outing, his most strikeouts.
That was his first start, right?
It was his first start of the season.
That's cool.
It's his first start of the season.
And I thought Drew Beam did great, too, after he settled in, like in the third. I got a little nervous there.
Look, Tennessee's probably going to have the best Friday, Saturday guys in the country next year. I mean, Beam's a freshman.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I think he's a sophomore.
Is he?
He
Yeah,
is.
he's a sophomore.
Well, they brought a freshman in.
Yeah.
They brought a true freshman in. Vitello kind of overthought his pitching moves last night.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he
Poor
was
guy.
He was in his head.
Did you see him turning the stools over?
Yeah.
And there was
Mike Leach.
Did you see the meme they made? It was like Mike Leach folding the chairs.
Game recognized game.
Yeah, that was cute. Poor Tony B.
He overthought it last night.
He did. He really did.
He kind of was in his own head. I mean,
Yeah.
it was,
Fine.
It wasn't like him, I felt like. I mean, it was a different Tony V. He looked nervous the whole time. He acted nervous.
Because LSU can make you
I
nervous.
know it. Yes, they can. And those winning goal, what do they call them? Championship goals?
Championship goal.
Championship
Is that what they're
goals.
called? Yeah, they look good out there.
Last night, the pitch count on some people asking for Riley Cooper. He threw 40 pitches last night. So, people wondering if he's going to be available this evening. I don't know. I can't speak on his availability, but he did throw 40 pitches last night. Riley Cooper has been one of the unsung heroes of this team all season long, especially here in Omaha. I think it's a little undervalued that he's one of the most experienced pitchers in the College World Series field, especially left.
Riley Cooper?
Yeah.
Is he a junior?
He's a junior. He came
Okay.
from Arizona with
That's right.
with Jay Johnson. And look, I think last year a lot of people were like, "Man, Riley Cooper again?"
Yeah.
Every time you'd look up, but it was obvious that Johnson had tremendous amount of trust in him early on, and now you're starting to see why. Cooper's the type of guy, you just give him the ball and you just go out there and let him work, let him figure it out, let him kind of do his thing. And he's been really impressive to watch work, and especially here in Omaha. I mean, his performance against Tennessee on opening night, I thought was fantastic. And then again, they were able to use him last night in a spot where they had to have him, and he stepped up. I mean, he has been one of, we all will talk about Cruz and Skeens and Morgan and Tommy White and all the star power on this team, but Cooper's one of those, he's one of those faces that it'll take you a while to get to, but his impact and what he means to the overall squad is just it's amazing. I mean, it just really is. Every single time it feels like he's put out there, he answers it. He responds. So LSU, Wake Forest today, 6 p.m. I think they start Coleman. I don't think that there's been any announcement. I don't think that they will tip anything off before they have to. But
That's what they were saying this morning on Dustin and Danny.
Yeah,
whoever their
I mean,
stand-in
I would
is.
think that. I would think this from a starting standpoint, you would probably look at him in Javen Coleman. He's got the starting. You still got guys behind him that you can go to, and you'll have to piecemeal this thing together. But I would expect and look, we've talked about Coleman all year when he was rehabbing and when he was getting right. I mean, you knew at some point of the season he was going to be put into an enormous spot. Like there was going to be a spot and a date and a time where he was going to have to, he was going to have to respond. He was going to have to, really, you need him to have a Nate Aikenhausen performance. Like Nate did last night, kind of, his longest outing. He struck out his most. I mean, if you could get that type of performance from Coleman to not only obviously stymie this Wake Forest lineup, but to go deep into the game and save as many arms as possible. Best case scenario, and now you hand the ball to Skeens tomorrow with a trip to the national championship on the line. I think, wow, that's what championship teams need. That's what happens. That's what they have to have come through for them. And, now with this scenario in front of them, with a 6:00 start against the number 1 seed in the tournament, you're going to have to get a performance from somebody that is just a little rare, right? I mean, like you need Trey Morgan to keep being Trey Morgan. You need Cade Beloso to keep being Cade Beloso. Dylan Cruz seems like he's found his footing in Omaha. Keep him hot. You need Tommy White to find it a little bit, but you've got to have some experience. You got to have some performance from somebody that just doesn't make a lot of sense, right? It wouldn't make a lot of sense for Coleman to go, deep into the game tonight and, strike out 6 or 7. Just he hadn't done it. He hadn't had that type of performance this season because of just where he was physically. If there's ever a time where he needs to have that type of outing, today would be it. Today would be it. Remember Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Katie's, always located in Mid-City on Iberville Street. Stop in and see them. They got great selections of menu items to choose from. katiesinmidcity.com. katiesinmidcity.com is where you can find them online. You can also check out their sister restaurant, Francesca's. Francesca's is a little sandwich deli located over in Lakeview. You can learn all about both of them online at katiesinmidcity.com. katiesinmidcity.com will take care of you. So you still got Javen Coleman, who I believe will get the start. You still got guys. Look, I even think that Gavin Guidry, even though his first experience in Omaha was a little shell-shocking when you put him in there for a pitch, one home run, you could see his eyes got a little buggy, They got a little wide. But look, that guy's a competitor. He is not your average freshman. He still is very young, and he's still a freshman, but he's played in big performances. He's played in big games coming out of Barb. I do not think that this stage is too big for him. And he's also been somebody very much throughout the season that you can count on. So I expect Gavin Guidry to get some run tonight. Griffin Herring obviously is somebody that we've still yet to see here in Omaha. Dutton is another name to look out for from a pitching standpoint. And then look, Blake Money. Blake Money last night had the ball. He was warming up. I thought that game was really kind of set up for Money, especially early on when the wind was blowing in. And Money's going to throw strikes. And LSU's defense, I thought, was playing really good. They were playing solid behind him. Pearson made a couple of really nice plays. The ninth, obviously the ninth inning, that 27th out. That was
Willie Mays.
That was a Jamar Chase type catch. That was Burrow to Chase, and he just kind of dropped it in the web there. But Pearson made that look very easy. That's a very difficult play. that he made to close that game out. He's played a really solid left field. You know, and it's a very, you know, look,
Given the circumstances.
I mean, the obviously, you know, I mean, they were pointing it out again yesterday just how brutal of a position it is to play in Omaha with the sun. I mean, you know, and Pearson was explaining, you know, the shades on, the shades off thing. When you put the shades on, there's shadows out there, so you really kind of lose track of the ball when you have the shades on, but you still have to kind of block the sun. That's why he's got his hand up with the shades on his head. I mean, he's battling.
It's a lot out
You know
there.
what I mean? Like,
It's a fight every time I
I
walk
mean,
out
like,
there.
forget the fact that you got to find a line drive coming at you over 100 miles an hour off of a big leaguer's aluminum bat. I mean, like, you got to fight the sun, the elements, the shadows, do I wear the shades? Do I not wear the shades? I mean, it's
What
like,
a weird sport.
wow. I mean, just a whole lot going in there.
It is a lot just to stand in
and
the
Pearson has
outfield.
played a very solid left field. I mean, like, there has been some shots into that spot where people are just like running away from it. I mean, like, I just can't see it. You know, I mean, that Wake Forest guy the other night, Trey Morgan, nearly decapitated him.
Yeah, for real.
That was great.
Like a step back, dude just got
I mean,
hit
just like it had
forehead.
taken it right off the head.
Would have had an emergency.
That was great.
I wonder if they'll use Christian Little.
See,
I mean, obviously they could get into a spot where they could have to.
yeah, but
You know what I mean?
haven't seen him yet.
You'd see him all postseason.
Not yet.
When's the last time you saw him?
Yeah, what is the deal with that? Where
He
has
could throw
been?
strikes. He could throw strikes.
Can't
I mean,
throw strikes. You
I
can't.
believe it
play
was the
Yeah.
second to last SEC.
That's
weekend.
the last time?
He has not thrown in postseason.
Did he?
Jeez.
Did he not throw at SEC tournament?
I know, what? He
I
didn't?
don't think so.
Man, that seems like a long time
Yeah, his
ago.
last outing was Georgia.
So the last SEC.
Yep.
I mean,
May 20th was his last outing,
they need him to come out of hibernation.
and he only
You know.
threw .2 innings.
Maybe he will. Maybe Jay's got it up his sleeve.
Yeah, well, let's hope. 'Cause
And look, I know that if you haven't heard from a pitcher in that long, there's a reason, especially on LSU staff, because LSU has struggled to find pitchers that they can count on and that can throw strikes. Christian Little is obviously bad. I mean, like, he's not giving them something. And we've seen enough of him to know that when he loses it and when he can't find the zone,
he can't.
it's a
find it.
long afternoon. I mean, it is just, it's brutal, man. You know, I mean, it's kind of like Rick Vaughn on Major League. You know what I mean? Ball 4, ball 8, ball 12, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 consecutive pitches. Monty, I just don't know how they hang off pitches this close. I mean, like, just like, oh, God, somebody go get him.
Hurry up! Hurry
Like,
up!
go get him.
Jay's on the
Get him
on
outta
the walkie.
there.
Hurry up, please.
Man, people have a lot of opinions about that in here. Maybe we should do our mailbag today and let people talk to us about it.
On Wake Forest's side, they have Sean Sullivan and Seth Keener waiting.
Well,
That's what I was wondering.
they might
And-
have the best pitching staff in the
Yeah.
country, right?
And Sean Sullivan's ERA is 2.59. He has 108 strikeouts on the season, and his win-loss record is 5-3.
Wow.
Seth Keener, on the other hand, is 2.18 ERA. He is 8-1 on the season and has 90 strikeouts.
Jesus.
Only
man.
walked.
How did Wake Forest become this good in
I
baseball?
know.
It's the pitching lab.
Like,
That's what it is. It's the pitching lab, coach.
It's that analytics guy.
Yeah.
I mean, these nerds don't want to come hang out at LSU where you don't have to go to class and you get paid to play baseball.
I'm like,
There's something to being a nerd in baseball, I guess,
Almost
right?
positive,
They got
like-
it figured out.
I don't
I
know.
mean, while they're dry humping faces and
Yeah, I guess. It's the strangest place up there in
That's like seared into
Winston-Salem.
my head.
it is weird.
Wherever.
It was weird.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Like, they got something
Yeah.
that's more.
Yeah.
Like,
They
he
do
didn't
that a
know-
lot.
He didn't know the camera was running.
No,
You know what I mean? Like,
know.
Or he just didn't care.
yeah, he's just like, hey,
Right.
man, I'm all in on this.
Like,
and have been.
We've been doing this all
And
year.
that was not the first time that happened.
No, it was
You know what I
not.
mean? Like,
That was way too
he
comfortable.
was holding by his ears. I mean, like,
He had a nice,
just da-da-da-da.
nice
Like,
grip on him.
I mean, he was in. He was in it to win it.
He was.
All right, we're going to talk to Jacques at 8 o'clock this morning. Jacques is up in Omaha. We'll talk to him about the daily schedule for the Tigers. What's going on today? As you caught wind yesterday, Nate slept in. He got the text yesterday morning from Jay Johnson. I believe he said it was 8:56 a.m. that he got the text saying that he was going to start. Nate didn't wake up until 11:30. Sent back Jay Johnson a text. I'll give you everything I got, Coach.
I got
cute.
you. I got you.
I got you, man. I got you.
Good.
But Nate could be a legend for LSU, man. His that performance could go down into legendary status if LSU is able to take care of business and get into the natty, man. You hate to use Skeens before you get there, but you know, I mean, these are the cards that you're dealt, right? And if you can get to Skeens tomorrow, if you can hand it to Skeens tomorrow, which that would be 5 days rest for Skeens, that would be a Major League Baseball time-elapsed schedule for him. You know, LSU's the best team in the country when he's on the mound. So, you know, we'll see if they can get there. It would be an incredible story for LSU again to come out of the losers bracket and to make the natty. From the last time that they did that back in 2017, they had to go through this exact same scenario. And I would say that Oregon State at that time was probably a better team on paper.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
they
only had 4 losses on the season.
I mean, Oregon State had the number 1 pick that year.
They had the number 1 pick, and I want to say they had the number 1 lineup. Like they were like
300 all around.
They were the team, man.
Yeah.
Oregon
And
State.
I mean,
LSU pummeled.
I mean that left fielder, the Asian kid, he's in the major leagues right now. Like he's playing in the major leagues.
yeah.
Like he's on a major league roster.
How far did LSU make it in 2017?
They made it to the natty.
Championship
It'd be
series.
All the way
I'm
to the
talking about.
championship.
Yeah, it'd be
That's
by
right,
Florida.
Florida.
But
Jake
they
Slaughter.
beat the
Florida.
best team in the country to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, like that would probably be a similar type of deal. Florida's going to be, I would imagine, Florida's going to be the team on the other side that's playing for the natty.
TCU scrappy coach.
They are.
Yeah.
And I hope they can beat them at least once.
Yeah.
You know, like
Give me
digging in
something.
that bullpen.
I mean, they killed Oral Roberts. Poor Oral Roberts.
No poor old Katie. You. I think sometimes you like. You
I'm
bring your mom
empathetic.
mentality
I do.
into sports,
I
and it's
feel
like
sorry for him
you
sometimes.
can't feel sorry for them.
Yeah, you
They went
can't.
out there, they did what they wanted to do or had to do.
And they got beat bad.
Well, hey, sometimes you get beat bad when you go out there and do what you got to do. Things just don't go your way.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. If you've not subscribed to the channel, make sure and subscribe for us if you can to this YouTube channel. As we said, we're going to talk to Jacques coming up here at 8 a.m. and talk more LSU baseball as the Tigers stay alive last night with a big win over Tennessee.
Is LSU going to be the
5-0.
home team finally today?
I think so. Yeah.
Because like
Oh, they are?
haven't been home team since what, game 1?
Right. They haven't. They were not the home team against Wake, and they were not the home team against Tennessee. Obviously,
That's right.
Yeah, they were the home team in the first game. Yeah, I would imagine. I saw where Johnson did say to the guy that was introducing him to the press conference last night that they were going to wear the same uniform.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like we're going
Wearing
gold and
the-
whites.
I mean, this is like all stars now. Like at this
Yeah.
point in the week, like
Right. Why not?
let's wash them things and put them back on.
Absolutely.
Or we might not even wash them.
Some
And they
people
probably won't. Yeah.
Also tonight, NBA draft. I know nobody's gonna be paying attention to that, but the Pelicans, if there's a move made with Zion, we'll know today. I mean, it'll center around today. So if there's something in the works to move Zion Williamson, I'd imagine that would go down here over the next couple of hours.
Well, and Brandon Ingram has been in rumors too.
I don't think they want to move Ingram.
I don't think
You know
so
what I mean?
either.
You can't move both of them.
No, that would be
It's either
awful.
one. It's one or the other.
Yeah, and I would imagine that the Pelicans are within trying to deal Zion.
But
right?
it's just unlikely that they make a move, right?
I mean,
You think so?
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire.
I know.
And there has been a ton of smoke around
Yeah, there has.
this discussion, and not speculation. I mean, it's coming from people like Brian Windhorse and Shams
And Mariah.
people like that. Right. You saw Twitter?
Yes.
Jeez.
I mean, like, really, though, that's ridiculous. I mean,
know.
like, and look, I'm not doing this, but you flip the roles on that. Mm-hmm. Flip the role. What if Zion is doing that to Marissa Mills? Zion's arrested.
Exactly.
Last week.
Exactly.
For harassment. That's ridiculous.
I know. How does
that
she keep
she's
going?
able to pull it, like, keep doing this, and nobody say anything.
I thought they deactivated our
They
Twitter.
did finally. I mean, 2 weeks later. But I
Yeah.
mean, if the roles were reversed on that, and Zion's threatening to put out sex tapes, and
He'd be in prison.
claiming that she owes him money for things that I mean, like, that is,
They'd put him in prison.
he would have been in prison. I mean, it really is a joke, the double standard on how that works. I mean, that she's able to just, for 2 weeks sit out there in the media and, throw bombs at this guy.
I know.
And nobody say, I mean, you got to wait on Elon Musk to deactivate her account. I mean, like, really?
Let's make a call to Elon.
The draft's Thursday. This is Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. I thought today was
This is
Thursday.
Wednesday.
Sorry. My days
Speaking
are
of the
messed up.
draft,
My days are messed
did
up.
y'all see the video of Wembyana getting in the subway in New York?
No. Is he alive?
I mean, every day, like, you can't walk in a normal
I
building.
know.
Oh, damn.
It's so cool though.
Jared Hills, they said both Zion and Ingram are not on the trading block. Yeah, but that doesn't.
There's rumors though. I mean,
I mean, that doesn't mean that they're not.
right.
I mean, they're not going to come out and tell you that they're not if they're behind closed doors, trying to put together trade strategy. I mean,
What about Brandon Miller? What's going to happen to that kid? I wonder.
Projected.
Sounds like he's going number 2.
Yep.
Yeah,
it sounds like Charlotte wants him.
Charlotte. Yeah, that's interesting.
Hey, Jordan, sell the team.
What?
Hey, Jordan, sell the team.
Jordan almost made $1 billion on that deal. I mean, like, Michael Jordan, dude. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It is.
All right, we'll be back hour 2. We're going to talk to Jacques coming up here at 8 a.m. As we said, appreciate everybody being here, interacting with us. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back hour 2. More LSU baseball discussion as well. Come back with us. Jordy Culotta Show, built by R&B Builders. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check them out online at redsticksports.biz.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha,
Malik Neighbors,
Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculottashow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go-Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Welcome back. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, brought to you and built by R&B Builders. Talking a little bit in the break about the missing Titanic tourist submarine that has less than 24 hours of oxygen left. Has everybody heard about this?
It's terrifying.
There is now, and this is off of the a Canadian aircraft is now searching for a submarine in the Atlantic Ocean. It detected banging noises from the vicinity of the last location of this submarine. The story of this submarine is crazy. I mean, by no means do I wish anything upon anybody. By no means do I have... I just hope everybody comes back alive and safe. But if they do find these people alive and safe...
Don't you want to just open-handed hit them in the face?
And just kick their ass. I mean, just beat the hell out of this. There's a British billionaire named Hamish Harding, a renowned diver named Paul Henry, and a Pakistani businessman named Shahzada Dawood, and his 19-year-old son named Sulman Dawood, who were on the Ocean Gate Expeditions tour in this submarine named the Titan. The watercraft was submerged on Sunday morning from its support vessel to travel to the Titanic wreckage. First off, what is the obsession?
I do not know.
With the Titanic that crashed to sea like over 100, like who cares about this ship anymore? It's been extracted. They've taken all the jewelry off of it. They've taken the plates. They've made a movie about it. What the hell do you care about the Titanic wreckage in 2023 as a mother bleeping billionaire, man? Like, if you're a billionaire, rebuild the thing. Like, have the Titanic reconstructed in your backyard if you want to.
No,
Getting into a submarine that's controlled by a PlayStation remote control that has been outed as it's not completed yet? Jeez. Like, this is a death wish.
It's terrible.
I cannot think of anything worse than jumping into a 20-foot tube and going underwater to search for a ship that is wrecked over 100 years ago.
Also, you're like this in the tube. On the floor, there's no seats, it's carpet, and your legs have to be up because only one person at a time can stretch their legs out. And you're going to the bathroom in a plastic bottle with a little curtain covering you.
It's estimated that the vessel has less than 24 hours of oxygen of supply left on the vessel.
But they heard underwater noises this morning, so that made them
that
deploy.
Could be anything.
So,
well, yeah.
If I find you, how am I getting the submarine back up? It's not like I got like a tow truck.
No, a tow submarine.
I mean, like, look, there they are.
I know.
You know, I mean, like, what now? I mean, I
don't know how you do it. Can you get them out of there, like at a certain depth in the ocean? Can you, like, I don't know, like, is there some kind of a thing on the submersive where you could put supplies in it without opening it up, give them like scuba gear or something and get them out?
Katie, I don't think it works.
But like,
that.
like, imagine, okay, so say you go down there and you find it and it's sitting there and they've got 5 hours of oxygen left and you can't get them out or move the thing. So you're just sitting there watching this happen, knowing what's happening inside of there, and you can't do anything about it.
I think they just have to like slowly go up or something like that, right?
I mean, how?
Because the pressure, if they go up too fast.
Like, but how am I connecting anything to the sub?
I don't know.
How am I doing? And I mean, like, just.
But did you see the guy's kid who went to the Blink-182 concert?
Yes.
And posted, like, I went and looked at his post because I saw just part of the caption that said, like, this is like I know people are judging me. It's a trying time.
Like,
but my family would want me to be at the Blink-182 concert. And I was like, he didn't say that. And then I saw a clip of his post, and he said, because they're my favorite band and music gets me through trying times. And he put a black heart in, like, the prayer.
Would want me.
That's crazy. I mean, like, it's his stepdad, so he must hate his stepdad. Right. Clearly, there's something there.
Stepdad's a dick.
Exactly. I mean, clearly.
Let me know if they find the sub.
Can you imagine, like, your stepdad's running out of oxygen on the bottom of the ocean?
Text me if they find the sub. I'll be at the concert.
Texting all his friends. Yeah, my stepdad's like getting lost at sea or something.
Like, really why post it? Go to the concert if you hate your stepdad and you want to go, but why make a freaking post about it?
Because he hates him that much.
Oh my god!
Social media world, man. Everybody thinks we care.
That's so bad.
It's crazy.
That's so bad.
Poor guy, man.
I don't know, y'all. It's pretty bad. They've searched over.
Somebody give me $1 billion so I can show y'all how to spend money, please.
Seriously.
I mean, the last thing I'm doing with $1 billion is getting into some like C-grade submarine to go search for the Titanic with my kid.
Because they've done everything else.
Bullshit.
In the world. Think
no,
about
they
it.
have not.
They've been everywhere.
No, you have not.
I don't care how
we're not
far
doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's go back to Tahiti and lay on the beach again for another 2 weeks with Cliff Kingsbury.
Right.
I mean, like, they got it figured out, man. I mean, like, let's just duck out of here.
They got to go to the ocean floor or space. That's what all the billionaires have to do now.
Quit messing with the water.
I know.
Like, I'm out on the water.
Why are you messing with the sea?
I don't know.
Like, you get all this money, man. Just build you something on top of the water.
Yeah, like, I'm cool with a boat.
Like, build you a $100 million yacht. I mean, there's
wonder
got to be equipment on a $100 million yacht that we can look down on the ocean floor and check out the wreckage of the Titanic.
Yeah.
But
You know
don't
what I
you
mean?
think like something like if they lost contact an hour and 45 minutes into the dive, and I think the dive it takes 2 hours to get down there to the Titanic, like it had to be something like a megalodon came along and just swallowed it up or something like that, right? Like what the hell happened?
I'm
to
sure
it?
the Meg does reside.
You know
out
what?
there.
2.5 hours under sea. I don't want to know what is
No,
under there.
can you imagine
No.
what's down there?
No.
No,
No.
I don't want to.
I mean, probably
No.
sharks
I mean,
the size
how
of
long?
the Titanic.
What is that? 2.5 hours to travel under sea. What is that? I
Mhm.
mean, what is that? 100 miles?
I don't know. It's 10. I think it's over 10,000 feet. Is that what I saw somewhere?
mean, like-
no, 10. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. They've searched over 10,000 square miles and found nothing.
Well, yeah. The Earth is 75% of this stuff, man.
13,000 feet below sea level.
Good.
That's where the Titanic
Lord.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all.
Good Lord.
I just can't even imagine the darkness down there.
just-
Like I
I
can't
got-
even imagine.
If you told me that if we go down and see the Titanic wreckage, I'll give you $1 million, I would be
know.
like, you know what? I don't. I'm not in. I'm not doing this. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if Rose is down there with the jewelry, handing out diamonds.
Rose.
I'm out. Somebody bring me one back. I mean, here's my $250K for the ticket. Here, if I'm a billionaire and I care that much, here you go. I'll pay for your ticket.
Right. You don't take your kid. I mean, ugh.
Dude,
It's
I
just
just
sad.
don't get. I don't get the
I don't get it
fascination.
either.
I don't get a billionaire. How the hell did this guy make $1 billion?
I know.
I mean, you made $1 billion and you're dumb enough to jump into some
I mean, but like,
mid-grade submarine with your kid?
Yeah.
What are we looking at? Like, I don't. I'm looking at the Titanic and it's just a boat. Like, it's just
I know.
like a boat underwater with, like, what's on it that you like?
Well, and
are
it's not
so-
like you can see the whole thing. You literally are looking at like a little bit of it at a time as your light beam, you know? So you're just
People are
cruising
just-
through it, cruising around it. I don't know. And not only am I not interested, but think about how creepy that would be.
Not only that, like, I'm not in control.
No.
Like,
I
I'm
know.
down. I'm the one 2.5 miles under the surface of the sea, and I don't even have control. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody give me
how-
$1 billion
who-
so I can show you how to
I
spend
mean,
it.
these 5 people must have lost a bet.
I know, right?
I mean, like, who talked you into doing this? Who was like, this is a great idea? Like, there's going to have somebody sitting up on the ocean floor, or up on the surface, and they're going to be controlling it with an Xbox controller. We're going to jump in this thing that's not quite done yet, and then finish the thing yet. But we're going to jump on it and go look for the Titanic. Everybody in? And by the way, the ticket costs $250,000.
God, why that much? Like, what is it? I mean, what does it cost to make that
because
trip?
it
I
ain't
wonder.
because it ain't ready.
Paying for that thing that isn't ready yet. Ugh.
This is bad.
I mean, like,
I don't know. It's really bad, but it's terrible. I mean, yeah, I don't feel sorry for them for making this decision, but I feel sorry for what they're going through right now. If they're still alive in there, you know, I mean, they very well might not be. They could be gone, but
I mean, you know, not to be morbid or not to be, I mean, in some respects, I hope that they are.
I know.
I mean, like, that's got to be just brutal.
Yeah, for 3 days of that. Can you imagine sitting there wondering how much or knowing how much oxygen you have left, like
I mean,
counting down?
and knowing that I got $1 billion in the bank above the ocean floor, and I'm sitting down here,
I know.
like, wondering if I'm going to run out of oxygen.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm jumping.
Exactly.
I'm an asshole. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
I know.
I mean,
I know.
I'm worth $1 billion, and I'm sitting down here in this thing, struggling to breathe under the water.
So there was a lawsuit. This submarine faced a massive lawsuit. It said not long ago an employee put out a bunch of safety complaints. An employee of OceanGate, the parent company of that sub, and said that specifically that it was not capable of descending to such extreme depths. And then they fired him. That's crazy.
He's about to make a Netflix documentary.
I know. It's like that sounds like a suicide mission then at this point.
Dude, what? I mean,
Really
just
weird.
Don't get it, man. I mean, that is ultimate dumb.
Yeah, I know.
Really. I mean, that is. What did you die of?
Right.
stupidity.
I know.
I mean, and look, man, I'm still in this life. I might check out of it because of it. You know what I mean? Like, but I promise you, I will not die on a submarine under the sea.
Like, I have no doubt that.
I mean, like, somebody may drug me and put me in one, but just know if I'm in that story, I did not get on that sub under my own cognizance. Like, there's no way I would do that. I would just. There's no way. There's no way. I mean,
like, do they have food and water? What? Oh, Jacques here. Jacques, like, what are y'all talking about?
I'm watching him struggle trying to put his own landscape. Like, flipping it over.
He's like, aren't we in a natty? Why are y'all talking about a submarine?
JD. All right, we're going up to Omaha. Jacques has been doing a great job of covering the LSU Tigers for WAFB. He's been up there since a couple of days before the first game. So he's got to be closing in on just about a week up in Omaha as the Tigers play today versus Wake Forest. They'll have a 6 p.m. start, 5:30 pregame for you on the LSU Sports Network. And it'll be LSU Wake. We go up to Omaha now to talk to our friend Jacques, just like we do every Wednesday. Jacques, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. It's 70 degrees, 64% humidity here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow, that is
so feeling great.
What's the look? I don't want you to get in. I know you're not a meteorologist, but I mean this wind that was different yesterday for the ballpark. Any idea of what today is going to look like around from a weather standpoint?
I'll have to look at the app. I know yesterday it was about 12 miles per hour. I think it was southeast. So obviously it was blowing in. Dylan Cruz got a hold of one early, and it died there in the power alley. And the wind played a major factor in the game last night as far as LSU's approach to pitching and who they had in the lineup and whatnot. And certainly the two guys we talked to, Nate Ackenhausen and Riley Cooper, the two big hefty lefties there, they got the job done for LSU. Both of them talked about, we felt pretty comfortable leaving the ball over the plate, that even if you got into one, it was going to be a fly out. So I had to check on that today and see how it is. I think wind blowing in would benefit LSU. I do think this offense is due to erupt and have a big game. They haven't had a huge offensive game yet. But if you're putting Javen Coleman out there and Blake Money, Griffin Herring is a guy LSU hasn't used yet that could be big for them today. I had to check on that. But certainly it was a big factor in the game last night.
Yeah, T-Bob Hebert and Will Blackwell was the pitching duo for the Tigers last night. It looked like, those two guys on the mound with Cooper Riley and Nate Ackenhausen. How big was that performance last night, Jacques?
Well, it's funny. I was thinking back to 2017 when LSU got in the losers bracket here and then made it all the way to the championship series. I'm like, who pitched back then? And they had one effort from Caleb Gilbert, if you remember, over 7 innings and gave up only 1 run. And that was to get LSU to the championship series. But, certainly you're thinking, Tennessee's got a big-time pitcher on their side. How is LSU going to respond? And really my fear throughout the game was please don't waste this effort by Nate Ackenhausen because offensively LSU was really struggling. And, Trey Morgan, who's been sensational here, had that leadoff double. And then Gavin Dugas really lays down the perfect bunt, puts the pressure on the Tennessee defense, and they throw it away at first base to make it 2-0. And Tennessee kind of gift wraps LSU a 3rd run, and Dylan Cruz delivers the kill shot. But, yeah, Nate Ackenhausen, big guy from Oklahoma, to come in. I think his previous high at LSU was 3 2/3, and for him to go 6 innings of shutout ball was a tremendous performance. He got plenty of help from his friends. You were talking about a submarine, yellow submarine, Beatles. He got plenty of help from his friends here in Omaha. Right. Some double plays returned. It felt like LSU was in numerous jams throughout the night where you were afraid that Tennessee was finally going to get a hold of one, but it never happened. And so, one quick thing, Trey Morgan's father, John, we talked to him a couple days ago, and he talked about how in Trey's first year and Dylan and a lot of these guys were freshmen in 2021, went up to Knoxville and got punched in the mouth and pushed around by Tennessee in that super regional. And for LSU to play Tennessee 5 times this year, beat them 4 times, and beat them twice in Omaha and send them back home kind of really shows the maturity of the team. And look, Tony Vitello's doing a great job at Tennessee, and and he may be there a long time to go to lots of World Series, but there was a lot of emotional response in 21 and 22 about how Tennessee's taken over the league, and Tony Vitello, maybe some people thought LSU should have hired him, and Jay Johnson was a little too boring and stale. We need to get the young, well, they're both about the same age, but we need to get the guys a little more brash and got some swag. Well, at the moment, Jay Johnson's looking pretty good.
Dylan Cruz hit a home run last night. Offensively, he was 2 for 4. He scored 2 runs. How big is it for him to get going there? It finally feels like he's kind of found his footing there in Omaha.
Yeah, I think in the first game he had a couple hits. I think one was like a bloop double or something like that. I think in the game against Wake Forest, he didn't look himself. But yeah, that would be huge. That would be huge for him to continue that. Braden Jobert obviously was electric in the first win against Tennessee. He's kind of gone quiet. Tommy Tanks had the first run of the game against Wake Forest, right? The RBI single. He's been quiet. He was a victim of the win last night too. So I think there's several sticks in this lineup, starting with Cruz, and if they can continue this, it would be big for LSU. You know, I don't want to reach for comparisons and whatnot, but certainly covering the LSU women's basketball run in the postseason, the offense just wasn't there a lot of the time, and it finally came around at the perfect time. So you kind of hope something similar happens here with LSU, as they need to beat Wake Forest twice. And really, you know, LSU's embraced this one-game playoff thing all year long. We're in a one-game playoff, and now at LSU, 50 wins, by the way. That's not easy to accomplish. In reaching the Final Four of collegiate baseball, Jay Johnson, year 2, no matter what happens from this point forward, pretty dang impressive. So, you know, I think that it would be good to see LSU's offense really hit it here, and they don't have to beat Wake Forest twice. They just need to beat them once today and extend this thing.
You get an idea of how they'll handle the pitching rotation tonight? I know that they've been close to the vest till about an hour before first pitch over the last couple of days and weeks. You get a feel of what they'll do today?
Well, certainly Jay Johnson is a bit of a football coach coaching baseball. He doesn't want to talk about injuries. He doesn't want to talk about who's going to start. Going into yesterday's game, he said, we've got 9 guys that we feel like we can put out there. Ackenhausen, I guess you burn one. Javen Coleman and Blake Money were warming up in the pen last night. Let me ask you, is Thatcher Hurd burned? Could he give something?
I would think he's burned for today.
Yeah.
I would think he is, because, you know, I mean, I still think, you know, I mean, there's strategy to the future. You know, I mean, there's strategy to what's next. Obviously, you got to get there. But I do believe he's off limits today.
Yeah. So then you've got, like I said, Griffin Herring is a guy that they haven't used. And look, you know, Gavin Guidry has thrown one pitch, but the guy hit it out. It was a bad first, Omaha experience for Gavin Guidry, but let's not forget his body of work. And he's been as his teammates said, he's got dog in him, and he's been a dog all year. So certainly I would think that he could give LSU something out of the pen as well. So, I mean, Jay Johnson was asked about it last night in the post-game press conference. I mean, what is he going to say? I don't feel good about it, but he did say, I feel very good about the situation that they're in.
You may not have any insight on this. I'm just curious if you've heard anything up there. Do you think that Christian Little is in play here with how much they need arms? But I know we haven't seen him since Georgia. Could they go to him?
Sure. I mean, you know, they've got to eat up 18 innings, right? Between here and trying to make it to the championship series, and then Friday is the press conference day, the media day, to preview the championship series. So you don't play on that day. I would think everybody's in play. They brought him up here, so I think Wes Johnson and Jay, I think they do a very good job of keeping their players engaged. And look, you may play a factor here. I mean, somebody made a comment to me that he's walking around with his shirt untucked and stuff. He doesn't look like he's all that excited to be here. But we'll see on that. And Sam Dutton's out here as well. I know some of these guys are like LSU fans, like, oh no, you can't pitch him. But at some point, you may have to, and it may be a beautiful story. You know, that these guys who struggle at times, and Jay said it last night. He said too much has been made about we didn't have good pitching. He says, I feel like we've got excellent pitching. We had a couple of speed bumps in the greatest conference in America. Certainly the low point was that Sunday game against Mississippi State when they were up 13-4 and blew it. But the pitching in the postseason has been pretty good. And Riley Cooper, he's been a bit of a lightning rod with fans at times. And what do they see in Riley Cooper? Well, he's been lights out the last month.
Yeah, he has been. Jacques from Omaha. So what's it been like, JD? The time in Omaha. What are you closed in on a week, right?
I got here Wednesday of last week. What's today?
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Right.
So yeah, I had to extend the hotel this morning for at least one more night. Great, just a great experience. Like, I would, I got the best job in the world and I'm loving every second of it, but I would like to one day just come here, walk around downtown, drink beer all day, go watch baseball games, enjoy the sunshine, visit with people from across the country. I mean, it is a wonderful thing to come and be a part of. The new park compared to the old park, there's, it doesn't have maybe the quaintness. It's more corporate and this and that, but they've got the walkway where you can walk all around the park, and they've got the Missouri River and this pedestrian bridge, and LSU fans just taking over the place. I mean, everywhere you go, LSU fans are here. Certainly the Rocco's thing and the Jello shot challenge and all that, and seeing Ty Graves here. I don't know if you saw yesterday, Jimmy Burrow, our mutual friend, the father of you-know-who, texted me a couple days ago and said, hey, I see you're in Omaha. My son Jamie runs a restaurant called The Early Bird. You ought to go check it out. And so yesterday we went to Jamie's spot and did an interview and a story with him, and he laid out a spread for us, man. Look, I love my Chimes brunch, but he laid out a brunch spread yesterday. It might have been the best thing I've ever seen. So he hit us with pancakes and sausage and bacon and all this stuff. And so, yeah, it's just it's a great thing. You can't go wrong if you ever come up here.
Shout out to the Burrows and to Jamie Burrow up there in Omaha, Nebraska. Is what's the name of the restaurant?
Early Bird.
Nice.
And so Jamie was played for Nebraska from '97 to 2002. He was a member of that '97 national championship team. He told me. He said I was a linebacker, but really I was a stand-up nose. I think big dude.
Yeah,
doesn't look. I mean, Joe's big, but this guy's a lot more wide. He's a squatty guy. Looks like he could be a MMA fighter or something. But Early Bird, and it was packed, and people were waiting outside to get in. I think it's a brunch place. It's like an 11 a.m. to 2:30 place or something like that, or maybe a little bit earlier. So check it out if you get the chance to come up here.
Jacques, this shot challenge, LSU has really taken this thing and run with it. Obviously, Todd Graves made some news earlier this week. What's it been like covering this competition?
Well, it's a little tricky when you're doing local TV, which can be rated G at times, and you certainly wonder about, some of the people of different religions out there saying, calling up and saying, I was very offended that you're pushing this binge drinking thing, and all that, because it is hard liquor. I mean, it's rum and vodka and all that other stuff, but there is a big charity aspect involved, which I didn't know about until I talked to the owner of the place. And so, look, Todd Graves did an outstanding job. I mean, I think that once LSU lost to Wake Forest, then people got in a bad mood. And some of them were saying, well, I didn't want them to break that record. We should break that record as fans, and whatnot. So I think they're sitting on 22,000 Jello shots. But, every time you go in that place, it's not a place to go in and sit down and breathe and eat. And, I mean, it has been, sardines in there every night, every day when you go in there. So, it's a good thing. The owner there, the Rocco's has only been open 4 years, so it's relatively new. But, great. He does pizza and they do a lot of other stuff. But at the moment, it's all about, Jello. I don't know if it's binge eating or binge drinking, Jordy, but whatever it is, they're doing a lot of it.
Do you get what's the feel around the teams that are left here? You've obviously got Florida taking on TCU, and LSU and Wake Forest still alive. I mean, obviously Wake Forest and LSU have been two of the top teams in the country all season long, and Florida's playing and having a really good tournament. TCU scrappy. What's kind of the feeling on the field?
Well, it's hard to say. I don't know if Jay Johnson, obviously can't say it out loud, but I think he probably feels like he's in the tougher bracket, right? Dealing with Wake Forest. I mean, if you take a look at the Vegas odds before they started, I think Wake Forest was the highest odds to win. I think they were at 27%. LSU was about 21% or something like that. Wake, with all their offense, right? They got 3 guys going into the LSU game that had hit 71 home runs total. They've won 2 games 3-2 themselves, right? So they haven't exploded offensively either. They're a power that's a bit of a Cinderella too, right? I mean, they hadn't been here since 1955. They've got some fans here, but certainly, they won't be competing with LSU. Nobody will in the stands as far as this being a home environment. Florida. Florida, I was always taken back when we came here in 2017 when they're playing in the national championship, and they've got no fans here. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got an interesting fan base in which, Florida, you think of athletics, they're a power. They, Billy Donovan and the national championships in basketball, football, what they've done over the years. But they typically do not travel well to bowl games and to World Series and even filling their own park for regionals. So that's an interesting dynamic. I mean, I don't know if they're kind of set up to win this thing. On their side, I mean, and if LSU is going to help them out on this side or not, but that would certainly be the great storyline that if LSU, after coming so close in 2017, would meet Florida in the national championship and somehow knock them off. But and by the way, is Paul Maneri going to get the Miami job? What's going on with that?
I mean, we were talking a little bit about it earlier this week. I mean, he's definitely interviewing for it. You've got all the names that are in college baseball talking about it. I mean, these are legitimate reports that his name is surfacing down there.
It would make a lot of sense, if you do a side-by-side of Paul Maneri at the end of 2021 and 2022, I mean, there's no comparison. I mean, he looked like he weighed about 130 pounds. He was just worn out, and now he looks healthy. He's put the weight back on. He's got the energy. I don't hear anything about the neck anymore that he had going on. And I just – I had wondered, I'm like, people age differently. I'm not saying that just to make myself feel better, but people age differently than they used to. Skip retired when he was 63. I think Dale Brown retired around the same age, 63. They looked a lot different then than Paul Maneri looks now. And he's got a lot more left in the tank, I think. And I'd always wondered about, I know he's getting really good at golf and he's had a couple of hole-in-ones in his first year of really playing golf. But I had always wondered, man, I don't feel like he's done. And I'm just curious, that would be a perfect fit, I would think. Obviously, he's from Miami. His dad was a coach there. That would be great for his wife, Karen, I'm assuming, to be down there on the beach in paradise in Miami. Although I'm sure they love Baton Rouge. They built this beautiful brand new house in the St. Gabriel area. And so what happens there? But somebody told me a guy of his caliber with his Hall of Fame pedigree and whatnot wouldn't let it leak, or I don't know if he could even control it if he didn't have a good shot at getting the job, right? I mean, you wouldn't want that getting out that you interviewed and then you don't get it. So I don't know. I mean, Javi Sanchez, I know, lives down there, and I heard that they had gotten together and chatted. Javi, I don't think Javi's in coaching anymore or anything, but yeah, that'd be something interesting. And it'd be a dynamic where he's not competing against LSU. He's far away and all that. And so I'd like to see him do it. I'd like to see him, have a last career there if it's possible.
What's the stories today? What are you chasing today?
I think there's a Little League baseball team that's in town that they had said if LSU could make it to Wednesday, the whole team is going to go to the game tonight. So that might be my little human interest story. And maybe catch up with the parents of one of the people that may pitch today in the game. That might be another good story. The deal is that our newscast comes on at 6, same time as the game. Yes. And so then you're running around after the game. The game ends around 9:30, and you're running around trying to get your interview stuff and fed back and everything. And so yeah, that'll be the case again tonight. I try to grab as many guys on the field. Like after every game, they say, okay, we're bringing these 3 guys to the podium or 2 guys. Everyone else you can interview on the field. And so that's what I try to do after the game. That's what I've been doing. I haven't been in the press conferences. I've been trying to get as many interviews on the field as I can after the game. So that's what I'll be doing again tonight. And hopefully, you and I are still talking about this season being alive tomorrow morning. So they've extended the year.
Keep up the great work, JD. Thank you for all the coverage. We'll be in touch tomorrow morning if they win.
All right, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, man, there he is. Jacques Doucette checking in from Omaha this morning. Tigers are preparing for a 6 o'clock start versus the number 1 seeded Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Of course, you can catch that on the LSU Sports Network, and that'll be at ESPN at 6 o'clock. But to keep up with everything, make sure you're following Jacques on Twitter and social media. All right, if you have any mailbag questions, if you want to ask a question, we'll take a break and come back and answer them right after this on the Jordy Culotta Show, as always, powered by R&B Builders.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculotta.show.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go-Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha,
Malik Neighbors,
Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacey,
Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
All right, give us a call. 225-229-7741 is the phone number. You can also text in if you have any mailbag questions. We'll keep it open here for a couple of minutes before we get into this Wednesday. Make sure everybody out there hits that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you starting your day here with us. Don't forget, we'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Here, every day, 7 a.m. Make sure that you're following us and subscribe to everything. Also keep up with Mic'd Up and the crew. By following them on social media, keeping up with them on YouTube, at Mic'd Up to find out what's going on in Mic'd Up. And look, they're up there in Omaha doing great work. They had a great Father's Day special. If you haven't seen that, you can tap into it and check it out. But if you have any mailbag questions, you can text in, you can call in, or you can just jump inside of the show chat app right here on YouTube and ask your questions with a hashtag mailbag, and we'll get to them before we get out of here in a couple of minutes. Clint Phillips from the parish, hashtag mailbag. WTF is up with the Wake Forest pitcher. He has a bit of a tick with his face, and he is on toad for sure. I couldn't stop looking at his face. It was a clown show on the mound. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. It was like he was on something, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was sniffing, he was snorting, he was picking his shirt up, he was talking to his glove, it was entertaining.
I want to see it again.
To watch him, for sure. Yeah, I hope he gets a couple of innings tonight.
Yeah, that anxiety is entertaining.
I mean, he is wound tight, for sure. All right, jump inside. If you have any mailbag questions, any text over there, Stu, anything?
Yeah, Hunter Fournette just texted.
There we go, Hunter.
I mean,
this guy, dude. Good.
Talking to himself.
Lord, dude, take a Valium.
I know, it's weird. He looks like he's about to just lose it. So nervous.
Hey,
show done button.
When you do that,
2 buttons though, showing that chest. They love that at Wake Forest.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see why.
Yeah.
I mean, their celebrations.
I know.
I mean, they're about each other, bro.
They
Big team guys.
About each other.
Big team guys.
All right, this is totally out of context from Hunter Fournette.
I'm sure it is.
Mailbag. Why do women say new hair when they get a haircut? It's literally the same thing.
I don't know. New look, I guess, would be what we mean by that. I don't ever do anything different besides just trim my hair, so I can't really say I don't really go for new, but it just means a new look. Good question, Hunter.
Good question.
Really good question.
Appreciate you.
Always
buddy.
in there with the pressing, inquiring minds want to know.
Okay, this is Hunter Hall from last week.
There we go.
good to see Stewie dust the mailbag off for the first time in over a month. Since we haven't talked about Dickie V Court and Detroit Mercy in over a month. This is Detroit Mercy's fun fact. Nikolai Jokic's brother played at Detroit Mercy.
Wow.
He played there before it was named Dickie V Court, obviously.
Oh.
And he said, I saw LSU got $101 million approved for renovations on a new basketball gym last week. If broke-ass LSU gets a new basketball gym before Alabama does, I will be extremely depressed. Good to see Lloyd and no one else Saturday during the 7-hour sunshine delay.
Kim Mulkey got that $101 million approved.
Really?
By the state,
Wow.
pretty much. I mean, she just went up there and shook some hands, took some pictures, and signed some autographs, and let them know that you got a big vote coming up today. To make sure we make the right vote.
Got a national championship team over there.
Got your national champs practicing in an arena with rats and roaches. Can't turn the lights on. More from Clint from the parish. What's up with the Jell-O shots for... if you took a Jell-O shot in the parish, you'd get slapped.
Jeez.
Yeah, I hear you.
I guess that makes sense.
It's a racket, though.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, $5
Think of
a
start
Jell-O
selling
shot.
Jell-O shots.
What's he giving? 50 cents to the school and $1 to the charity?
That's what it is. That's what the split is. Okay. And those cost what?
I mean, he's making
10 cents to
nearly
make?
he's making about $4 a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
That's nice.
I mean, it probably takes
Good for him.
a quarter to make those things.
Oh my gosh. Can
Maybe.
you even imagine?
Maybe.
Easy work.
Yeah, like a box of Jell-O is like 50 cents.
Hunter Fournette, do we get a shitty ump tonight?
We're due. I mean, you had a good one last night. You got to play the numbers. I mean, this thing has been one day they're good, one day they're bad. I thought last night was a well officiated game. You know,
It was.
I thought that made sense. You know, to I mean, you know, the way that he was calling the game, there wasn't, you know, there was nothing egregious either way. So, you know, you'll have to deal. Hopefully, you can get somebody like Money or somebody that can throw strikes from LSU standpoint to be able to compete and battle.
Somebody just asked, mic'd up on Twitter. Did they announce the umps for tonight yet?
I'm sure they have, just not publicly. All right, we appreciate everybody for being out there. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. Have a great Wednesday. Pull the Tigers through. Hopefully, we're talking about another win in another game tomorrow. If LSU can get there, it's Paul Skeens on the bump for the Tigers. Thanks for everybody being out there. Like, share, comment. Make sure and subscribe. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.